Peace, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Thank you all. Let me just adjust this camera real quick. There we go. Dynasty Mirror, search for Uhuru. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Let me open this up. It's like a little reflection situation going on with the. There we go. That's better. That's better. Get rid of that reflection a little bit. But everyone, thank you for joining. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Again, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, tours. Okay, so we have Sierra Leone coming up this month, y'all. It's already April 1st. It is already April 1st, everyone. So we have some tour announcements, more tour announcements. Like I said, the plan. In fact, let me back up for a second. So my tour company, Donfo, right? Go to please visit donfo.africa to learn more. When I first went to Africa, I went to Tanzania. This was back in 2011. And I remember traveling to Arusha. Arusha is a city in North Tanzania, which is close to Jomo Kuyate. If you're serious about coming, I can help. If you don't have your U.S. passport, I can help you get your U.S. passport in 2 days. So I mean, if you're serious about coming, just send me an email, hit me up. Hello@donfo.africa. Again, hello@donfo.africa. Or just go to donfo.africa.com and uh, send me a message. So, okay, Jumbo, hit me up. Send me a message. If someone's asking some questions here, hold on one second. Let me scroll up. Dinas, I have a question about your tour. Say you're already in Africa. Yeah, if you're already in Africa, I could. Guys, send me a message. It doesn't matter where you're at in the world. I mean, we do the bespoke tours. If you want to join a group tour, and you're not flying from the U.S., there's a certain rate that I will give you. So, again, just hit me up. We don't turn down anyone. I mean, we will work with you. The only thing that is hard is if you want to come on a group tour and you're like, hey, Dynasty, man, I only want to do, instead of 10 days, 8 or 9 days, I just want to kick it with y'all for 2 or 3 days. I don't do that. Like, this is the package. This is how it rolls. But I offer tours as far as the prices with flight and without flight. Again, with flight and without flight. So if you're already on the continent and you're like, look, Dynasty, I'm already on the continent, but I want to join your tour, no problem. Hit me up. Go to Donfo, DANFO.Africa and send me a message. All right, let me get back a little bit for me. Okay, Dom G, that's fine. Just hit me up, Dom. Just hit me up. Let me back up for a second. So, what I noticed when I was in Arusha that all the major tour company in Arusha was Leopard Tours, and Leopard Tours um, was operated and ran by non-Africans, by Indians. And as I traveled throughout Africa, I started to notice that uh, Africans don't even control we don't even control our own tourism industry. Again, Africans, we do not control our own tourism industry, tour industry. Tourism in Africa is like a 30 or 40. In fact, hold on, let me look up these numbers. I always get these numbers wrong. Hold on one second. All right, so in 2019, this was 2019. Hold on. Well, 2020, well, let's do 2019. 2020, it fell a little bit because of COVID. But in 2019, the tourism industry accounted for 7% of Africa's GDP at $169 billion. Again, $169 billion. I'll say this right now. As far as Africans and the amount they control of that tourism industry, it's pennies on the dollar. From the hospitality portion, as far as hotels, to the actual tour operators and tour companies. East Africa, white. South Africa, white, Indian dominated and controlled. West Africa, I mean, I would say we're doing a better job, but still, for the most part, non-black, non-African dominated and controlled. So with Donafo, I wanted to expand. Me myself, I'll be attending 4 tours a year, 4 to 5, as far as the group tours. So Sierra Leone twice a year, April for the citizenship ceremony, another one in November for the citizenship ceremony, another citizenship ceremony, which is going to be in November, early December. Nigeria every August, Oshun Festival. We rolling to that. And now I'm doing Benin for the Voodoo Festival. So I just announced that Voodoo Festival, January 3rd through 12th, 2023. If you're interested in rolling to the Voodoo Festival, a lot of people have been asking. January 3rd through 12th. Again, if you like to roll to the Voodoo Festival, it's being held. The group tour will be January 3rd to January 12th. Also, Senegal. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up. Oh, that's not it. Wrong one. Guys, give me a second. But Senegal, let's pull it up this way. Group tour for Senegal will be October 19th through the 28th. October 19th through the 28th for Senegal. Okay. We're doing Zanzibar as well. And then soon we're going to roll out Kenya, Namibia, South Africa. All right. So if you go to the Donfo site, or if you go to the Donfo site, Donfo.Africa. Oh. Guys, sorry about that. Hold on 1 second. I apologize. My laptop went dead on me. I apologize about that. Let me get back to where I was at. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button that helps with the algorithm. Again, please hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. All right, here we go. So Donfo.Africa, that's the site. Travel. These are the countries we're going to right now. Zanzibar and Namibia will be coming online. Sorry about that. Zanzibar and Namibia will be coming online later in the year, and also Kenya. Zanzibar is part of Tanzania. Might as well include Tanzania as well. But Zanzibar, it's definitely a great spot to chill in Tanzania. For somebody that's looking to explore for just 8 days. Zanzibar, you'll have a lot to do in those 8 days. Maybe later in the year, early next year, we'll start doing Kilimanjaro. I want to go back and climb Kilimanjaro again. So we'll start doing groups to go climb Kilimanjaro. So looking forward to that. And then of course the safaris throughout Tanzania. So we're going to be adding those two countries later on in the year. But like I was saying, Africans, we don't control our own tourism industry. So I'm looking to change that, play my role. That's why we are expanding and traveling to more countries. So again, we have Sierra Leone this month. We have one more spot left. That's April 17th through the 30th. If you have your African ancestry DNA results, you are eligible for citizenship. Again, you are eligible for citizenship. Also, Nigeria, August 11th through the 20th. Again, August 11th through the 20th for the Oshun Festival. If you're interested in enrolling, hit me up. We got about 7 spots left. Senegal, October 19th through the 28th. October 19th through the 28th. I will not be on that group tour. But again, like I said, I can't be everywhere at once. The company, the ship, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna have to be rolling without me. I can't be everywhere. I want people to be attending tours, bespoke tours. All these countries, we do bespoke tours as well. So if it's you and your family, hey, Dynas, I want to roll to Senegal, I want to roll to Nigeria. We're doing that as well. I have the guides and support on the ground. Then we're going to do Sierra Leone again in November for citizenship tour. And also, if you're not eligible for citizenship, you're more than welcome to come and join us. All right, I have several people who are coming on this tour who aren't getting citizenship, but they want to come and explore Sierra Leone. You're more than welcome to come and explore Sierra Leone without being eligible for citizenship. And again, we're running the tours will be being run year round. Okay. And then in November for the Sierra Leone tour, it's probably going to be, we'll probably leave like the day after Turkey Day. No, we'll probably leave the day after Turkey Day, day before Turkey Day, day of Turkey Day. That's Thanksgiving, by the way. And return maybe December 5th. Let me check this calendar real quick. Now, give me just a second. Let me check the calendar real quick. So December. Okay. Right. So the ceremony is probably going to be, from what I've been told, guys, don't hold this. Again, this is just speculation. Okay. What I'm saying is just speculation. So we're on record. It's just speculation. So December 1st and December 2nd, December 1st is a Thursday, December 2nd is a Friday. We will probably leave on December 4th. So we'll probably head to Sierra Leone. Let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We'll probably leave on the 22nd. We'll probably leave on the 22nd. And return December 3rd. Again, we'll probably leave on the 22nd and return on December 3rd. In fact, that's more than likely what we're going to do. I will announce these dates end of the month. Again, I will announce these dates end of the month, okay? So that's what I'm more than likely going to announce these days. So it's looking like tentatively we'll leave November 22nd, return December 3rd. Yeah, leave November 22nd, return December 3rd. So that's more than likely going to be the dates for Senegal. Right there. November 22nd to December 3rd. Again, don't hold me to it. It's still speculation, but that's what I'm guesstimating. But I will announce those dates end of this month. And then Voodoo Festival, January 3rd through January 12th. Again, January 3rd through January 12th for January 12th. January 3rd to January 12th for the Voodoo Festival. All of these countries, if you can't join the group tour, but you still want to visit these countries, hit me up. We have guides on the ground, and we could put together for you a tour. That's not a problem. Not a problem at all. So visit donfo.africa, and you're more than welcome to send me a message through the site. Again, visit donfo.africa, and you are more than welcome to send me a message through the site. Let's see here. And we'll love to hear from you. Also, do me a favor. Let me pull the site back up again. I need you guys to do me a favor. Because I want to make sure that you all are receiving the information. Okay, I want to make sure you guys are receiving the announcements. Again, I want to make sure that you guys are receiving all of the announcements. I announce everything here on YouTube. I announce everything on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Also, do me a favor. If you are watching this right now, I don't ask for a lot, okay? I don't ask for a lot, but when I do ask for something, it's like pulling teeth out of a lion with a steak suit on, okay? Again, I don't ask for a lot, but when I do ask for something, sometimes it's like pulling teeth out of a lion with a steak suit on, all right? What I need you guys to do, go to community, go to donfo.africa, click on community, okay? I want you guys to join our Telegram community, and I want you to join our email list, all right? Because I want to make sure that you guys are receiving all of the updates. The Telegram community is probably going to be the best bet, so you guys can stay up to date. Because sometimes I'll get the person like, I didn't know you were doing that, Dynas. I'm like, dang, don't you follow me on social media? Aren't you on the email list? I'm always announcing what's going on. How did you not hear? So the Telegram community, okay? Join the Telegram community. Join the email list. Subscribe to all forms of social media. All of my social media pages, subscribe. Everyone needs to be following me and subscribing. Again, the link is donfo.africa. Donfo.africa. I need everybody who's watching this and who watches this. You need to go to donfo.africa. Go to community, join the Telegram group, join the email list, dynastymir.com. Join the email list. Follow me on social media. That's where I make all the announcements. Because people like Dynas, I follow you, on social media, subscribe to your YouTube page. I had no clue you were doing this. I'm like, huh? How did you not know that I was doing this when I announced this like almost every day? I talk about it before just about every show. I'm always talking about it. So again, do me a solid, hit that like button, but go to donfo.africa, join the Telegram community, and join the email list. I'm going to make some updates to the site as well. As far as payment, I set Bitcoin. I don't know what's going on with my Zelle. For some reason, I can't. The Zelle's not working. But Bitcoin, crypto, and credit cards. Okay, we accept crypto and credit cards. I want to make the site interactive. See, I want this to be an experience. So it's like it's more than just a tour company. I just don't want it to be just a tour company, even though it is a tour company, but I wanted to be more focused on experiences as well. And a play Donfo is going to be a place for where you get a lot of information as well. So I wanted to be an experience. So it's going to be a space for if you want to travel with us, travel with us. Now, if you want information, you want to learn about something when it comes to Africa, having to do with travel, with culture, with tourism, you have Donfo.Africa. So, guys, make sure you go to the site. Make sure you subscribe. Um, join the Telegram group as well, and I will greatly, 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 greatly appreciate it. Everybody who's coming on the tour with me. We're leaving in about 2 weeks, y'all. We are leaving in about 2 weeks. I want to thank you all. In fact, while it's on my mind, let me go ahead and send a message in the WhatsApp group. So what I do for each tour, group tour, I create a WhatsApp group for everybody so they can meet each other, so you'll know the other people who are traveling with you. So let me go ahead and put this in the group real quick. Everyone, I just want to thank you all for choosing Donfo. Thank you all for choosing Donfo for your Africa travel. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go, bam. I just wanted to, put a quick message in the group chat real quick. So yeah, so that's it, guys. Let's jump into some of these topics. Again, let's jump into some of these topics. The U.S. The U.S. They are upset that Africa, they're standing on the fence when it comes to this Russia-Ukraine war. They are on the fence. So they want, they basically want U.S. wants African countries to disavow and call out Russia when it comes to this invasion. And I've said this in the past. Look, I'm not getting involved. Africa doesn't need to get involved. And part of the reason why this is going on solely lays on the reason why a lot of this is going on and this is going on is really Ukraine's fault. A lot of it, a large part of it. The U.S. sold Ukraine a dream. That dream was that possibly Ukraine could join NATO. When ish hit the fan, NATO, the U.S., they all started playing hot potato. Like, hey, listen, we can't help you. You're not part of NATO. Even though they were courting NATO, even though they were courting Ukraine to join NATO, when Russia said, look, y'all stop playing with us, are we coming? When Russia showed up, the U.S., NATO, they started playing hot potato. They ran for the most part. They ran. And they're nowhere to be found now. Now, they'll complain on this. In fact, this is what NATO and the U.S. is doing now. They're complaining from the sidelines. That's what they're doing. They're on the sidelines and they're complaining. So that's what's going on. But let me pull up this article real quick. That's what's going on. They're now, even though NATO and the U.S. sold Ukraine a dream, and hey, you might be able to join NATO. When ish hit the fan, NATO and the U.S. they got off the field and moved to and went to the sidelines, and they're sitting on the bench complaining. Meanwhile, Ukraine is getting pulverized. Here we go. Here goes the article right here. Right, and the West was behind the assassination of Gaddafi. So here's the article right here. Oh, let me hide this card. There we go. My bad, y'all. U.S. calls for strong African response to Russian aggression. Nearly half of all African countries abstained or did not vote at all in both UN General Assembly votes seeking Russian ceasefire. The United States is hoping for a strong African response to Russian aggression and plans to help mitigate the economic effects of the Ukraine conflict on the continent. U.S. diplomats have said, we look for a strong African response to Russian aggression and welcome the opportunity to partner with Senegal. Senegal, stay out of it. Golly, Senegal, stay out of it. Now, if you guys don't know, Senegal, I guess, approved or agreed or voted with the West to take out Gaddafi. There were a couple of African countries that actually supported the assassination of Gaddafi. Oh, man. And welcome the opportunity to partner with Senegal and other Africans on both the response to Russia's aggression, but also to address the implications of it globally. Oh, God goodness. U.S. Ambassador to the African Union, Jessica Le Pen, told journalists in Dakar. Africa, stay out of it. Le Pen and Akuna Cook, an official in the U.S. State Department's African Affairs Bureau, were in Senegal for consultation, including with President Macky Sall, who currently holds the African Union's rotating presidency. Their visit, which they described as a follow-up to that of Secretary of State Anthony Blinken in November, comes at a time when the Russian invasion of Ukraine is dividing African nations. Senegal, which has strong relations with the West, which is the problem, surprised many by abstaining in a March 2nd United Nations General Assembly vote on demanding a Russian ceasefire in Ukraine. But the West African state also voted in favor of a second UN resolution on March 24th demanding that Russia stop the war immediately. Man, Senegal, Macky Sall, stop it, man. Stop it. Nearly half of all African countries abstained or did not vote at all in both votes. Now, PM preferred to welcome the statement issued by the African Union on February 24th, the day Russian President Vladimir Putin launched the invasion, which called on Russia to respect international law, the territorial integrity, and national sovereignty of Ukraine. The AU statement stopped short of condemning the Russian intervention. Cook said it was important to recognize that Africa is very much affected by the Russian invasion. No, they're not. No, they're not. Well, they are. I mean, they are indirectly because of wheat. But the West is who caused this by, again, promising Ukraine that they had an opportunity to join NATO when in reality they never did. That's what the cause of this is. You can't blame Russia. You have to blame the West, both because of the economic impact which we are seeing here and across the continent in terms of rising commodities and fuel prices, and also because of the threat to territorial integrity. Senegal imports 57% of its wheat. Can we not grow wheat in Africa? Can we not grow wheat in Africa? In Senegal. Senegal imports 57% of its wheat from Russia and Ukraine, and the country's gross domestic product could shrink by 3% because of the subsidies that will be needed to meet this demand. She added, calling it a significant challenge. The U.S. is looking at a series of options to lessen the economic effects, both with the World Bank and goodness, with the World Bank and IMF, and on a bilateral level, said Cook. So that's where we're at. We can't grow our own wheat. So we can't grow our own wheat, which is unfortunate. All right, so there we go with that. Oh, interesting story, which is going to lead into the second topic. So I was one of my favorite restaurants, like a little Jamaican restaurant I go to, called That Fire Jerk Chicken, is on Northside Drive here in Atlanta. Now, I don't live too far from it, and so usually, depending on where I'm coming from, I usually cut through by where like the Morehouse School of Medicine is, and like Spelman College. I guess that'd be Spelman, Spellhouse, whatever. I usually cut through there. It's like a little shortcut. I go through there or cut through campus to get to Northside Drive to go to Aki Bamboo. And so last week I was cutting through, Spelman or whatever. And, Spelman students were out protesting with signs saying that, they're paying $50,000 a year. Again, $50,000 a year. Guys, let me repeat. See, and this is the problem. And guys, I'm going to open up the lines here in a second. Again, I'm going to open up the lines here in a second. But the question I have now, is it the lenders? Like we keep saying predatory lenders, that these lenders are predators, right? But my thing is, what parent will allow their child to take out a $50,000 student loan for 1 year? For 1 year. So what parent will allow their child? I mean, in this thing, I was on scholarship. I play sports. But I'm trying to figure out if a parent could call in when your daughter comes, or son or daughter comes to you and says, "Look, mom, dad, I got accepted into Spelman or Morehouse. It's gonna cost 50 racks a year. I got approved for for the student loan." Like I'm thinking, like, wouldn't the parents come in and say, "Hey, look, that's not smart." Because I'm telling you, if the parents were on the hook for these student loans, a lot of these student loans wouldn't be taken out. And I think these parents they set their children up for failure. Hell no. I can tell you right now, if Master comes to me talking about he's going to take out a loan for $50,000 a year to go to college, hell no, I'm not supporting that. $50,000 per year. And they're saying they don't even have housing. Trust me, I know. I try to tell my mother or my children. Guys, $50,000 a year and they have no housing. And then we were just celebrating, Polo, Ralph Lauren, Polo, Ralph Lauren, they got the new drip, the new Spelman Morehouse drip for Polo, Ralph Lauren. Well, that's the thing, Black Beauty. Like here in Atlanta, you can go to Clayton State. Clayton State's not that expensive. I think Clayton State might be $8,000 per year. So Clayton State's not that bad. But $50,000 per year to get a college education where you might make 70 racks a year, 80 racks a year, maybe at the most, maybe more. I mean, what's the average salary of a Morehouse Spelman grad? I mean, think about it. What is the average salary for a Morehouse Spelman grad? I mean, I'm interested to know. But $50,000, and then with the how housing, the way housing is here in Atlanta, dude. I just read an article today. Like Atlanta is official now, and I've been saying this for years. Atlanta housing is unaffordable. They finally came out and said it's unaffordable. Here we go. In fact, let me start off with this because people, people keep telling me, Dynas, man, the housing market's going to crash. The housing market. Somebody said, here we go, WM West Coast. When I graduated in 2000, I moved to Atlanta to go to Clark. I would have took whatever loan. That's the mindset. Man, we got to change that mindset. That's the mindset that's going to set you up for failure. But hold on. Man, hold on one second. Now let's read. Let's look at this article first. Hold on one second. Here we go. Federal report officially lists Metro Atlanta housing market as unaffordable. Guys, the community I live in, right? And this is really twofold. See, they're not telling the whole story. The community that I live in at one time, not too long ago, so it's 2022 now, back in like 2014, 2013, they were giving houses away. What do I mean by giving houses away? You could have bought a house for like $15,000, $20,000. That's how much houses were going for in areas by the AU Center, by Morehouse and Spelman. They were giving houses away, $10,000. Black people did not see the value in buying these houses. They saw the value in running to the suburbs, following the racist white Trump supporters and going to their schools. Now that the housing has become unaffordable, that people literally were buying these houses for $15,000 and $20,000, putting $60,000 into them, and now these houses are worth $600,000. Literally, I'm not exaggerating. Like I know the guy who bought the person that I bought my house from here in Atlanta. I bought my house for $185,000 back in 2014. He bought this house for I think either $8,000 or $15,000 back in 2012, I believe. He bought it for like $8,000 or $15,000, put another 80 into this house, sold it to me for $185,000. White guy. Guys, that's another thing. A lot of these homes in the city, even when we saw a lot of black faces, even though we see a lot of black faces in Atlanta, there's no black ownership. There's not a lot of black ownership. So back when I first moved into my house in 2014, here in the community I'm in, it was nothing but zombie houses. The house next door to me was a zombie house. Houses across the street was a zombie house. I think it was me, my neighbor right across from me. Then on this block, I want to say out of, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 houses on this block. On this block, it's another 5 houses. I would say so out of those 10 houses, maybe 4 or 5 people actually lived in. The rest were just straight zombie houses, straight trap bando zombie houses. And I remember between 2014, 2016, You see an old white man pull up in a pickup truck with Hispanics in the back, and they start renovating these houses and selling them. Then, like down the street, on the other end of my street, a lot of Section 8 houses when I first moved in 2014. Once the Section 8 tenants moved out, old white man pulling up. Again, an old white man pulls up in a pickup truck, getting ready to renovate the house. See, like I said, Atlanta is white, corporate owned, black managed. Okay, Atlanta is not a mecca. It's not. And I've been saying that for years, and people get upset. They get offended because the stuff that AT aliens complain about here in Atlanta, you really don't see in like the DMV and some of these other black communities, black people complaining about, which I started to notice. But here in Atlanta, the so-called black mecca, black people are always complaining about something. But you really don't see it in other communities like that. That's why I've always said Atlanta's not Wakanda and Atlanta is not the black mecca. Now, Atlanta was a great place to come to reinvent yourself. If you were in Cali making 60 racks a year, you couldn't really afford nothing. You come to Atlanta, you could buy a 3,000, 4,000 square foot house on about an acre of land for about $100,000. Those days are over. I remember when I was looking at this house, there was another house in East Point. Brick, four-sided brick house, full basement. Like 3,500 square feet. It was only $115,000 on about half an acre or an acre. Again, we're talking about 3,500 square feet, full basement, four-sided brick house, huge house. Sitting on about an acre, $100,000, $115,000. Those days are over. Those days are over. Again, when I moved into my community houses, because I have a big house, so my house sold for, I bought mine for $185, but you could have easily moved into this community for about $140,000, $150,000. I was gonna bring up B-more. I'm gonna get to B-more in a second. I'm gonna get to Baltimore in a second. Because the way housing's going in America, Baltimore, Louisville, Kentucky, Dayton, Ohio, Toledo, Ohio, that's like the only places left that are somewhat affordable. I like Baltimore though. Because of where Baltimore strategically located. I'm shocked that Baltimore hasn't, like, I'm just shocked why Baltimore hasn't really became, like, there hasn't been like a renaissance. Because of just where Baltimore's at. Alan, do me a favor, Alan, call in. Alan, do me a favor and call in. Hey, Alan, links in the chat room. Tell me about Baltimore. So I'm just shocked that Baltimore hasn't really blew up like it should. Baltimore is still, somebody said too much crime. Well, that's what they're saying about Atlanta in the city. In fact, crime in Atlanta is up 31% since last year. So as far as the crime, they were saying the same thing about inner city, the city of Atlanta. Chicago's just too cold for me. I mean, Baltimore's cold too. Here we go. Go ahead, Alan.
Hey, what's going on?
Alan, let me do it. Hold on one second. Let me turn on my other speaker real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, give me guys. Give me 20 seconds. Go ahead, Alan.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm here in Baltimore. I'm in Baltimore as we speak. I've been living here in the area, in Baltimore area anyway, since about 2005. I moved down from Buffalo at the time. So I can tell you that you can still, even though the housing market's spiking in the city itself, so Baltimore city limits itself, you can buy houses and flip them for 100 grand, or you could find houses for a good house for 150, 170, $180,000. It's creeping up into the more $200,000 range, but the housing is affordable.
Alan, I'm noticing that it's starting to creep up. Like it's getting into that $200,000 range. It's still
Yeah.
affordable, but it's still starting to creep. But go ahead.
It's creeping. Yeah, it's creeping. Because listen, man, like a couple years ago, you could have some of these houses you would have easily been able to pick up in the city. These row houses for next to nothing, even if they're fully renovated. Now, if you get $100,000 house, you may have to gut it because it's going to be full of a bunch of amenities that you're not going to want, like that old, like a lot of these older people are dying, right? And so they have these houses with that wood paneling and all
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff.
That's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, so that's what you're going to start seeing. But no, this would be actually a great place for people to get if you want to get in the city, because um, that gentrification they did in DC about 5-6 years ago was was very racially based, and all the stereotypes and things that people say about gentrification were very true when it comes to what they did in the district, um, and how they went about it. And they're very blatant about it. And it worked very fast. Um, but no, Baltimore's great. It's a great place to go. Now there's some issues, and there's certain areas you shouldn't be in, but for the most part, you could find a decent place.
My bad, Alan. Let me ask you this, Alan. Why still hasn't Baltimore really like blown up? That's because I mean it's a major city, has an
Hmm.
international airport. It's only like 40 minutes from DC. I'm just shocked why it hasn't really took it off.
There's a level of dysfunction here in Baltimore that is shocking. If you can't get the schools right, then people aren't going to come. And I work in the schools. I work in Baltimore City schools, but there are definitely issues here. That some people will want to go out to Howard County instead, and be out there. There's also in certain areas there's the issue with the gun violence, but for the most part, there's not a lot of random crime here. A lot of the crime is people who are in the gang, if you know what I mean. So those are the people who tend to get shot or get caught up in stuff. But the violence can be a problem and can be a deterrent. To be honest.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still shocked by that because even here in Atlanta, I mean, violence is up or violence was up, yeah, but it's still Atlanta still like changed. It took over. Even in LA, like Compton, South Central,
Hmm.
violence, but those communities changed. I'm just still shocked on why, even though you brought up the schools, the violence, same issues here in Atlanta, same issues when I was in LA. I mean, I think what in LA the kids were reading like I think like over 50% of the kids, like 60% of the kids couldn't read at like a first grade level who are in like junior high or something, or illiterate, something crazy. So the schools were terrible there too, and here in Atlanta, but still these cities still have just changed. But I'm just shocked that Baltimore hasn't.
Yeah, Baltimore hasn't changed because Baltimore is very old fashioned, and a lot of people, and quite frankly, the inventory that's here, a lot of people aren't going to want the row house. That's going to take some getting used to people who haven't spent time here. They wanted a lot of people would want a detached home, and there's not a lot of them in Baltimore. There's a lot of most of these houses are some form of row home. So that's probably a hindrance. And it's not the nice row homes that they had in DC. It's a different type of row home. Not saying they're not nice houses here. I'm saying that it's a different look, and it doesn't match the American dream aesthetic that some people would want. Like the
No,
white picket fence.
right.
That's not here.
But yeah, but even then, like if you look at like those brownstones in New York, you look at those. I mean, when I was in downtown DC. I think I was there like last November I was there? I forgot when. Man, those houses downtown were absolutely gorgeous. Like those brownstones and but they're all attached, but that's what people want. But you're saying they don't want the ones in Baltimore.
Yeah, the ones in Baltimore, they tend to be smaller. You'd have to spend time around here to understand. It's they tend to be smaller. A lot of them were built the way the city was put together. A lot of the companies and the mills that were around the harbor before they got torn down, those guys owned the row houses. So they just built like things that were very uniformed and very small, all over the place around the big house where the bosses lived. And they had people living in places where they had to where basically the company owns your house, and that's what a lot of these houses come from. So it's definitely not something that's and some of them are require you to knock down a few walls and do a few things to make them more modern, as opposed to be something from the 1800s or the early 1900s like they are in certain areas of the city. So, but it's doable, and people are doing it slowly. But it didn't take off, and it certainly didn't it wasn't an overnight takeover like it was in DC, which is about 30 miles up the road.
Like how much were those houses going for like 10 years ago in DC? Like those nice brownstone looking houses roughly. Do you know?
Oh God, some of those places are going for millions of dollars. There was I'll tell you,
No, no,
straight.
I meant like 10 years ago.
Oh, 10 years ago? Oh, 10 years ago, maybe a little more than 10 years ago. A lot of those places were going for, you get one for 100,000, 200,000, three
Are you
hundred
are you
thousand.
are you serious, Alan?
Yeah. And then overnight, what they did was, black people were there. The price, the prices of those homes were kind of like, suppressed in terms of the way they were evaluated. White people started coming in, and they had people who were just making people offers, writing checks on people's doorsteps and asking people to leave. It was the most unbelievable thing I'd ever seen. Even people who wanted to stay in DC were getting like ridiculous offers, and then their house they paid couple $100,000 for was going what they sold for $600,000, $700,000, 800,000, and then all of a sudden the place was evaluated at over $1 million or $2 million. It was happening that quickly. It was very
Yeah,
targeted to get rid of to make DC not a chocolate city anymore. Put it like that.
right. Because I remember when I was in DC this last time, man, I was looking at those beautiful houses. I'm like, man, I wonder who. I just wonder how much these houses were going for back in the day, and who was living in them, and because they're absolutely like these brownstones in Brooklyn and Harlem and DC. I mean, those are the type of houses I love. I like those houses, and then here in the South, you got the old Victorian and Craftsman houses that have character. But like I said, here in Atlanta, where I'm at, the city, like I said, they had these beautiful Victorian craftsman houses. They were giving them away, like
Yeah,
10, like when they were selling for 100,000 where you're in DC. Here, like our equivalent, the craftsman and the Victorian houses, they were selling for like $10,000, $15,000.
yeah. Wow, wow. Yeah, that is amazing. Yeah, but now DC, everybody's priced out of DC. They've successfully pushed everybody out, and I'm talking about they raise rents on places like Ben's Chili Bowl and stuff like that, or you know Besides, I don't think the only place I stayed that's part of old DC was Busboys and Poets might still be there, but other than that, man, everything has pretty much changed. They've pushed the black people back out into Prince George's County, essentially, and DC is pretty much is pretty much, they're trying to make it all like Manhattan.
Well, the same thing is quietly going on here, and the same thing's going on here in Atlanta. Like I said, a house around the corner for me, you know, on the market for. In fact, let me on the market. Let me hold on. Let me pull it up real quick. On the market for 700. Let me see if it's still. Hold on with it. Hold on. Asking price was $750,000,
Yeah,
and they literally went on a contract for 900,000.
man. I remember. Let me see. I want to say I was working in DC back in 2010 or 11. I was working at schools in there, and we were over there by Catholic University, if you're familiar with the area.
Oh yeah.
And so there were row houses that's when this whole thing was just really getting to kick in. And there were row houses there that were going for, people had bought for like $200,000, who people had made them offers, bought them from them for 400,000, and all of a sudden they were selling those houses for 600 grand around there. It literally would just happen overnight. People like I knew somebody who the person knocked on their door, and their house is up on Pennsylvania Avenue, and they basically made an offer, said, I'll buy this house off you for 400,000. She said no, kept coming back, said I'll buy it off for 600. Finally, this gets up to about 900 grand, right? And she said no because she figures that she's a professional black woman. She wanted to stay in that area, and the guy got upset and pretty much said, "Oh, come on, man! Why can't you just take the money? You can buy a big house in Prince George's County, and you can buy one of those cars with spinning rims on it." They were.
Nah, they didn't. Alan, he didn't say that.
Yeah, he said that. So that is the level that it was at. I mean, you should look up some of the stuff on DC gentrification. It was really a trip. They didn't care if you were a professional black person or not. There were certain areas they decided they wanted, and they were taking the city back. So that was how it worked. It was some of the worst gentrification in the country, right there with some of the stuff that was going on in Harlem. It was serious, but these guys were just blatantly telling you they didn't want you there because of who you were, not because of what you were, or if you were a professional. They feel that black people need to be in Prince George's County, and that's basically what's happened.
But Alan, where was Barack Obama? Like, where was Barack Obama? Where's the Black Caucus?
It happens right under Barack Obama's nose. He didn't do a damn thing about it. So the city was, the second he got in office, the city started changing. It happened under his watch. There's no excuse I can make.
Yeah, I'm surprised, man. He's saying Barack Obama, the Black Caucus, all this Black power in DC, they didn't do anything.
Nah, they sold their souls to developers. And then all of a sudden the schools started, the charter schools got big. That's where I ended up going, teaching in DC for a while. Everybody's making money off of the charters, trying to have a place for these other people to live. And pretty soon, there was a school called UDC in DC, the University of District of Columbia. That was pretty much like a black school. Now that's a whole bunch of white kids who go there. And now it's more highly ranked. And if you go over there by Howard University, there's nothing but white people living around Howard University these days.
Listen, so listen. So I went to Black Caucus back. I think it was 2019. I went to the Black Caucus. It was 2019 or 2019, because 2020 is when COVID happened. And I remember walking. I took an Uber. I forgot where I took it to. In fact, I took it to Morehouse. I think I'm not Morehouse, but Howard. And I got out so I could walk to the convention center. I just walked to the convention center just to check out. Check out DC. And I remember there were like white students all over the place on a Saturday just walking on
Hmm.
Howard's campus.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, I told people all the time. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Howard University became. I'm not going to say it's going to be a PWI, but I bet you there'll be a more significant portion of white kids going to Howard University. It's a decent school. Um, it's a decent school with a law school with a hospital. There's a lot of value there. And none a lot of the professors aren't really black either. So you already have a lot of international professors there. So it's definitely a different school. It's not the whole experience.
No. But same thing here in Atlanta. Atlanta folks get upset when I say it. Like Atlanta is white corporate owned, black managed. They'll let you manage, but you know, Keisha Lance Bottoms, all of them, they sold out to white developers. And it's just, and again, black folks here in Atlanta, they'll get mad and upset because they got this whole, this is a black mecca. But nah, same thing here in Atlanta.
Right. Right. Yeah. This question they have pop up here about how can black folks find out the real value of their property? Shoot, that's a tough one.
That's
I'm
because
not in real estate.
you could get an appraisal, but what they're doing now, some of these appraisers, they'll purposely appraise your house at a lower amount. They find out you're a black family or a black person
Correct.
that owns the house, and then when a white person buys it and moves in, they'll appraise it a higher amount. So
That's what
I
happened
think
all
this,
throughout DC. Yep.
yeah. So that's happening. Not really here in Atlanta, but you hear these stories of that happening. But yeah, so
Absolutely.
that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Well, there was the one black woman who had the white husband. She basically took
Right.
down all the black pictures and had her white husband do it. And they did appraisal when she was there with the black pictures up, and it was lower than the appraisal she got with the white husband who did it. So I don't know what to do, man. Ask your white friends to to be there for the appraisal. I don't know what else to say. I
Yeah.
don't know what else to say.
So yeah, that's crazy. So and then now you have these like BlackRock and these big corporations buying up all the housing now. And it's just what they're doing, guys. They're getting rid of the middle class. Like a
Yes.
lot of you guys are gonna be. I know you FBA, ADOS. My bones are buried here. But they're pricing you out of America. Period.
Yep. That's why you got to have a plan to have an alternative.
Right. And
Someplace
y'all,
else that you want to live in. And black, it's about time black folks start thinking that way anyway. I know
Mhm.
most won't do it. I know most want to stay here and they'll suffer through whatever, and that's fine. I just think that you have to have someplace else, man. You should be working on a citizenship and another passport, because even white guys are working on different passports. There's a whole channel with white guys who are thinking about getting second citizenships and third citizenships, and leaving. They're leaving more for tax reasons.
right.
But you can, that it's not, it's something that a lot of black people seem to be closed off from, or they're being guilted or made to feel that if they want to do something like that they're leaving and running from home. And it's like, you've never owned anything here, and they've swindled you out of everything for generations. So you should, for those who are wise, they would consider doing something different.
But like I said, when the people call my house asking about my home, I tell them like, listen, you give me $1 million, I'll leave today. My number's 1 million.
Okay, that's
My
that's
number's a
that's a
million.
good number.
Yeah, my number's 1 million. They give me 1 million, I'll pack up tonight.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah,
basically what my friend had to have to do. She got about 900 grand, and that was about it. It's like, even though the guy was very rude and stuff like that, they have different ways they could do eminent domain. They're getting people out of these houses who've owned them here in Baltimore. That's another thing. People here in Baltimore, some of them have owned the same house for generations,
right.
and they'll get them out the house by saying, "Well, you didn't pay a BGE bill or something like that, or you owe back electric bills and stuff like that," and they'll get them out the house.
Even they say, okay, my bad, let me pay the electric bill, they still get them out.
Some of these people haven't paid it in a while, and so they'll just say, yeah, but there were a couple cases where people had gotten out of taken out of homes that way. I know the Baltimore Sun ran a story about that at one time. So it's Baltimore is going to be harder for them to get because there's so many of us here in such a very concentrated area that there are black people here with the money to buy the gentrified stuff.
Right.
Put it like that. So,
yeah,
so it's not going to be like DC where they just literally threw people out, and all of a sudden everybody was out in Prince George's County.
Guys, links in the chat room. If you want to call in, add to the conversation, you're more than welcome to call in. Again, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in. Also, please hit that like button. Again, please hit the like button. But yeah, that's crazy. But like I said, hey, if you want to stay in America, if you haven't had about a home yet, the most affordable spots, you got Baltimore, you got Toledo, Ohio, Dayton, Ohio, and Louisville, Kentucky.
Yep.
You
can still get a good house here. I was just looking at, you go on Redfin, you can get a good house here for between 180 and about 200 grand. You can get a fully renovated new house here in Baltimore, and it's it's a really, really nice house. Now, another thing is, here we have a lot of blighted properties here in Baltimore, and they're all connected. So it's like I could have a nice row house, but my row house is connected to the abandoned one that has the boarded up windows.
Hey, Kala, you got a bunch of background noise, Kala.
So okay, you guys hear me?
Yeah, there's a lot of background noise.
Yeah, I'm in a restaurant. It's such a topic. I just had to chime in. I just want to chime in for a second. The elephant in the room. I don't hear anybody talking about this. What do you do?
Kala, we can't hear you, Kala.
Okay, let me go to the restroom. How about that?
The car, yeah.
A lot of music in the background. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, no, you could get a good house for 180 to 200 grand to be fully renovated. They're all over the city proper. It becomes harder the further out you get. So if you try to get a house, you even get a house in Baltimore County. But when you start going over into Howard County and Anne Arundel and stuff like that, that's when it becomes a little more difficult. The further you get out into those areas.
Well, Alan, so how's your experience being living in Baltimore? Like,
I haven't lived in Baltimore proper for a while. Living in Baltimore proper is kind of a wild ride. It's kind of an experience because you could be on a really nice block. So you could be over by Johns Hopkins University, right? A very highfalutin university. You go down the street and turn the corner, you're on Greenmount Avenue. And that's where Tupac grew up. You know what I mean? It's so you could be, you're right next to, it's like Swiss cheese. It's like you could be in a nice area and then all of a sudden, you turn the corner and you're not. And that's definitely a specific experience to Baltimore.
All right, you there, Kala? Kala. I don't
I actually look forward to hearing what Kala had to say.
Yeah, I did too. He dropped off. But guys, links in the chat room. Here we go. He's back. Hold on. All right, go ahead, Kala. Yo, Kala, we can't hear you.
Sometimes when you get in those bathrooms, all that metal, it blocks your signal.
Okay, yeah, we can't hear her.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, links in the chat room if you want to add. Here we go. Supplanter James. Supplanter James, go ahead. Unmute yourself, Supplanter. Supplanter James, unmute yourself.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, all. I'm just joining now, so I think someone should continue. Then I'll get what is going on. So I.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay. All right, yeah. Guys, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. But I mean, what can people like? What are your thoughts on Baltimore, Alan? Like as far as for the
I like
future?
Baltimore. You know, it's cool to be in a city where you see a lot of black people. You'll see a lot of black people failing, but you'll see a lot of black people succeeding.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that's a dichotomy of Baltimore. I think it has really unique culture. If you love seafood, and you know, people here love eating their crabs and their crab cakes. If you're into that, then this is the place for you. I love the harbor. The restaurant experience is actually really good here in Baltimore. Um, and then the surrounding counties have really nice things that you can go to as well. So I've moved. I came to Baltimore. I moved away from Baltimore, and I actually moved out to Rancho Cucamonga for a little bit, and then I
Where
came back
in LA?
in the Inland Empire. Yes, sir.
Oh, you serious? God
I was
dang.
out there. Yeah, my ex-wife is from LA. Yeah. Yep.
Carla, you there?
Yeah, hey, Giants, thank you for letting me on. Thank you for. I'm sorry I had some thing. I went outside. Yeah, I just want to say the elephant in the room I don't hear anybody talking about is what do you do when people talk about development? You also talk about Section 8 people, a criminal element, and all stuff like that. I'm not trying to sound anti my people, but the bottom line is this: the elephant in the room is a lot of black people are moving away to get away from other black people. You know, how can we talk about regentrifying, stopping the regentrifying when we're the ones that was fleeing from our own people? You know, and so the bottom, it's like I said, our culture just took a nosedive with this latest incident and everything like that, the Oscars and everything. The problem is this toxic black culture is what's destroying Black America. That's why we got gentrification. There's no reason to leave the inner city and everything. We had everything. There was no reason we left the South because of racism and violence and everything. We fled the inner city because what? Violence and all this poverty and everything like that. So the bottom line is this: what I don't see the plan when people talk about let's fight gentrification, and nobody's talking about a plan. What do we do with our youth? I heard that now Soto, Texas, is being overrun with gangs and stuff. You know, and where do you run to? I mean, we get priced out. Crime is every place. Prince George's County, once a black haven, it now has a strong criminal element. When are we going to have these conversations? You know, we all want to make money and everything, but you know, at some point in time, we got to address this toxic black culture that we have that's destroying everything we attempt to build. Because I see too many black communities destroyed by just a criminal element, a toxic element, and benign neglect by so-called black leaders. You got a Congressional Black Caucus, Maxine Waters. Some lady went up to her, asked her about her homelessness. She ignored her. You know, we elect people that don't bring anything back to the districts and everything, and then also the poverty and crime spreads out into the suburbs you thought you were safe in at one time, and that's what the problem is. You know, I want you guys to answer that. You know, you guys know more about this than I do.
Well, I mean, you're familiar with Prince George's County. You don't live too far from me.
Right.
So yeah, so the Prince George's County is is a large county, as you know. It's huge. So yes, there are places, you know, like Potomac and all these other places where you have, you know, the rich and well-to-do places. But I've always thought that the whole idea that Prince George's County was this rich black county was a little overrated. A little
Yeah,
overrated.
it was.
It was overstated, and it was made out to be something that it wasn't. There were always problems in Prince
Like
George's County.
Atlanta, like
Yeah,
Atlanta.
yeah, it was always problems in Prince George's County. So that's what it is. I think people have these expectations. They move to these places with the expectation that, you know, this is going to be this great black mecca, and they don't realize that there is no black mecca. You have to find your own way and make your way, and even in those all black areas. It's easier in a black area to do it. And I appreciate, you know, being in Baltimore and what Baltimore has done for me. But you know, you can't come here or any place expecting to be this haven that's going to change your life, and you know, the way Atlanta was presented to us in the 90s and stuff like that, when, you know, you still have struggles and issues. So yeah, I see your point. You're right. Especially in Baltimore, where I'm at right now. If you're familiar where I'm at, I teach at a school right across the street from the Mondawmin Mall. So It's
Hey,
so.
hey, 1 second, guys. I have to hop on a call for just 15 minutes. But keep it going. We're not going to end the stream.
Okay.
15 minutes. I just got to hop on a call. It's going to be literally just 15 minutes.
Okay.
But go ahead. And guys, I'll put
Yeah.
the link in the chat room. If you want to call in, call in. Like I said, I don't want to end the stream yet. So 15 minutes. I hop on a call for 15 minutes right now. Links in the chat room. If you guys want to call in, call in. But you guys go keep flowing because I'm not going to end the stream.
Yeah, so Kyle, what I was saying is that we're in the city and we have deep systemic problems. We have food deserts here.
Right.
We have vast food deserts in Baltimore, to the point where Black people have had to be inventive since slavery, and have those donkeys with the carts, riding around with the carts and the fruit and
Right.
vegetables, and get in the people. This is a very different city, and it has a lot of problems. But if somebody can figure out a way to solve them, the infrastructure is here for it to be prosperous again. Is just figuring out a way to get the funding and have that stuff flow through the city again.
Let me ask you a question, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people say about building homes, like homeownership, what is your ideal homeownership? A single man, a single woman with 3 kids? Is it a family, mom and dad? Is it extended family? What do you think is going to do the trick? Because I don't see a single mom with 3 kids buying a $500,000 home and everything like
No,
that. You know?
she's not going to. She'll never be able to afford a home like that. But she can afford a home in Baltimore. You know what I mean?
What kind of home?
A row home, a simple row home. If a single mother with 3 kids wants to purchase a row home here in Baltimore, you know what I mean, 3 bedroom and 1 bath, or 3 bedroom and 1.5, something like that, she can have it. She can have it
Now,
for.
let me ask you a question. What kind of community is it with? What kind of people is she going to be around? Does she have to worry about her son getting killed? Does she have to worry about?
If her son gets involved with the stuff that goes on here in Baltimore, she absolutely has to worry about her son getting killed, and she absolutely has to worry about things going on in the environment, and she absolutely, more than anything, has to worry about the type of school that her children would have to go to, and the influences that come from there. But that is a problem. I'm not going to lie and make it seem like it's all roses. It's not. Those are the type of things you have to worry about.
Let me ask you another question. White people of a similar low income in rural parts of the Midwest and the Appalachian and everything make less than black people. If they don't move out of there because their neighborhoods at least provide them some basic sense of sanctity, community, and safety. With black people, we have to spend all our money, moving out of areas and be overpriced because the same neighborhood. I've seen white people live in the same neighborhood for generations. You don't see them match exodus here and every day. Black people, we're always forced out of our neighborhoods because of crime. That's the biggest issue for me. Blight, crime, neglect, and everything. We have white people who live in houses that they pay less than black people do, they earn less than black people do, and they're stable for generations. So I think the problem's got to be us. We got to address who we are.
Right. Well, I'll say this. The neighborhood I live in right now, I live barely in Baltimore County, right on the outskirts of I don't know if you're familiar with Baltimore. I don't live far from like St. Agnes Hospital, right? And so there are rough white neighborhoods too, and I live in one. Okay.
Yeah. Well, Boston have them, but the thing is, you don't see white people leaving them. It's not to the point where like Boston has their own rough neighborhood, Irish and everything like that, but they have balance there. I mean, you'll have a banker and a lawyer living in the same neighborhood as a thug and a hooligan, and somehow it all bounces up. And there's the police and everything. Where it seems in the black community, it seems like the criminals rule so much and everything that there's no role model. You know what I'm saying? There's not a sense of togetherness. It's like I remember 50 Cent said one time, he said, man, 50 Cent said, fuck this. Nobody wants to live there. And that's the attitude. As soon as you get some money, you want to get the hell out, Where you said the white community, they got the problems, but they don't leave. You see what I mean?
Well, I mean, yes and no. When white people hit it big, like I'm talking about really big, and they completely change their class, they leave their neighborhoods and don't even talk to people anymore.
Yeah, some
Um,
of them do.
a lot of them do. Like I'm talking about like
You go to
my life work too.
Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, Park Slope in Brooklyn, and Red Hook and everything, and the Bay Area, Bayonne, stuff like that. It's still all predominantly in the Raritan area of Brooklyn, New Jersey, is still working class white to this day.
Yes, yes. I'm not denying that. My point was that the kind of people who like when they make it, like when they become doctors, stuff like that, a lot of them will leave they leave their, their working class white neighborhood, and I'm talking about some of them won't even talk to their family like that anymore. They completely change.
Well, I'm from New York. Every
That's
Italian
you're
kid
right.
I
It's
knew,
not true in New York. I got you.
New
You're
York
right.
is different. You know, you
Yeah.
got niggas still go back to the old neighborhoods of Little Italy, Mulberry Street, and stuff like that. You know, and they and then you'll see famous actors on Mulberry Street, getting a cannoli and stuff like that, an Italian Columbus Day parade and everything. We don't have that anymore in Black America.
No, we don't have strong enough neighborhoods that have maintained a little Africa or anything like that that we could.
Yeah, we don't have that. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so we gave up on ourselves in America. So that's when people tell me, oh, we don't need a nation now. We got it right here. Are you kidding me? You know,
Hey, real quick, somebody just texted me, Alan, maybe you confirm this. They said Prince George County this school district's like the worst in the country, one of the worst in the country.
It's not good. It ain't worse than us. It ain't worse than Baltimore City, it is it isn't going well. If you have to, because remember Prince George's County is huge. It's a massive county. So I can't blanketly say that about all Prince George's County schools, but they got schools
Hey, 1 second,
that are.
Kyle. I'm gonna go ahead and mute you, Kyle, because the background noise
oh,
is
yeah,
getting
well,
too much.
exactly. Well, it's been nice. Let me go finish my lunch, and I'll holler at you guys
Okay.
later. Thanks, Alan. Thanks for the
All right.
discussion.
All right. All right,
Yeah,
go ahead, Alan.
Prince George's County is huge. So you can there's a there's a large area. You could be in Southern Maryland over there, but and be down by like La Plata and all these other places where you're rural, or you could be in a more urban environment up Langham and all those places. You could be. It's a huge area, but yes, some of the schools in Prince George's County are pretty have performed pretty poorly.
Now, Alan, since you're in education, somebody just brought up a great point because the same thing here in Atlanta. Which predominantly black school district is doing well in America?
Predominantly black. I can tell you
Yes.
ones that have a huge black population that are doing well, and they're right here in this area. I know I could tell you that Howard County does. The black kids tend to do all right, although it's not as much as they used to be. But Howard County is doing okay.
You said Howard County?
Howard, yep. That's part of
Mhm.
Elijah Cummings' district. I voted for Elijah Cummings when I was living out there.
Okay. That's Baltimore, right?
Yeah, it's Baltimore. Yeah, it's Baltimore. Um,
Okay.
Let me see. So what's it called over there by Rockville and all the one that closed the racial wealth gap,
Somebody
famously.
said Howard County. Somebody said Howard County is not predominantly black.
No, it's not. I said it has a high number of black people. I said there are no districts that I would say are predominantly black that are doing great. Like none of them.
Why is that, Alan?
So, I
Because like
mean,
here, and the thing is, like here in Atlanta, it's the same thing, but people just want to pretend and ignore it and still call it the Black Mecca.
yeah. I mean, we have our listen. I can only speak on the district I'm in. I'm Baltimore City. We have our struggles. Baltimore County does all right, but yeah, they have their struggles. They're predominantly black in areas, but yeah, it's there's just so many social issues that they come to the school before and I'm teaching in high school. If a kid comes to me in high school and I'm supposed to be teaching them certain things and they come and they have a difficulty reading, you're just gonna have a difficult time. And you've already are behind the 8 ball, and that affects your testing, and that affects your ranking, and even getting kids to come to school sometimes can be a problem. So there are problems, and they can be solved, but you know, nobody's figured it all out yet. You know, we're working hard trying to fix it, but it's an
All right,
uphill battle.
Theo Nero, go ahead.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Dennis and Alan.
Yes.
You guys read Thomas Sowell?
I haven't read his books yet, but I've started listening to his. Brandon actually put me onto Thomas Sowell. I've been
His
watching some of his
audiobooks,
videos.
right? They're fire.
Well,
I listen,
okay, go ahead.
I listen to them all the time. He said it's the culture that's the problem. So we gotta leave. It don't matter. Our kids are gonna underperform. Why? Because the culture in America, the black culture, some of it is degenerate, you know? So it's gonna be a problem. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dinus. When kids go to Africa in that environment, don't they do better? Like black American kids,
I'm not.
school
I would
wise.
think so. Well, yeah, because they go to better schools. So
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
we
because you got to understand over there, the private schools like in Africa aren't as expensive as the ones here in
so
America.
so you see what I'm saying? We have the dollar power. So use it while we have it now, right? Buy some of these properties in Baltimore, rent them out so we could support our lifestyles in Africa and we could live there because we can't save everyone because not everyone's going to come, you know? And black, as you say, we're priced out. So we're fighting a losing battle by staying here. That's my personal thought.
I mean, you could have a point. You know, I took my kids during the pandemic. We went to I took them with me to Barbados, and I know that's not Africa, but you know that I took them. My family's from Barbados, and
I'm
I
from
enrolled them in
Jamaica.
school. Okay, I enrolled them in school. You know, had buy uniforms and all that, and the culture is definitely a different thing. You know, a difference in terms of what's allowed to happen. The things I take here in schools here, and the things that have said to me, and the threats and things like that. That stuff that's not tolerated
It,
uh, in places like that. And I
when
heard
I
it
was
firsthand.
in school in Jamaica, they used to punish you. You used to get whoopings.
Yeah.
And that is like this is not that far long ago, like 2009, 2007.
Yep.
We used to get whoopings for stuff like that. I remember the first time I came to America, I came to Virginia. Was in algebra class, and they were saying wild stuff to the teacher. I was shocked because back home, even in high school, you get punished.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. They've eased back on that now,
But
but
we
you're not entitled to be in a school. In other words, if you don't want to, if you want to act up, they're not going to force you to come to school. As a matter of fact, they may kick you out, and you'll have no
but,
place to go.
but what I'm
Uh,
saying is we have the money to be the middle class in Africa. I think
mhm.
we should try it. Like-minded people that think like you and me and Dinus, we should try it because America for us, I think that we're being replaced. Like
Oh yeah.
we're being,
Uh,
I see it. We're being replaced because if you read Thomas Sowell, he tells you about the Irish and the Italians and the same process we're going through, they went through, right? With the
mhm.
black people coming in from the South, labor replacement. So if you can't move up, you have to go where you could make it, you have to travel. It's not an American thing to travel because you guys are the center of the world because of the money. Your money dominates the world market, right? So you guys are not used to like going to another country to live, but I think that's gonna be the new wave because we're priced out, especially in places like Virginia where the liberals are in control. It's not for us.
Yeah, we're finding out the hard way that I was very liberal up until about 2016. I would say when I
Mm.
was registered a Democrat, I was very liberal. But they've gone so far with some of their social agenda
They, they, they
that I don't agree with, that I can't really be in there and listen. It breaks up homes. I'm probably part of the reason why I'm not married anymore is some of that. some of these social agendas that creep in to your homes and everything like that. So it's a real problem, and I think we need to consider going somewhere. I don't know where. It could be Africa, somewhere in Africa, somewhere in the Caribbean, someplace else. But we've been on this hamster wheel here in the States for a while now,
I
and we need to
I I,
figure out
I
something
don't
else.
know about the Caribbean. I don't know how it is in Bahamas, but I'm from Jamaica. The same problems here are creeping in to the islands, right? So we got to go back to the source. We got to go back to Africa. I think that's where we could build, where people have culture. You know, is he gone? What happened?
I think he dropped off. I think he dropped off. But keep going, brother. Guys, links in the chat room. Again, link is in the chat room. If you'd like to call in, click on the link. Again, if you'd like to call in.
But I've been
Go ahead.
enjoying your videos, man, on the property stuff. I like that. It's very educational.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I love it. I'm thinking about getting into it because I've been looking at Baltimore. It's cheap.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm yeah, let's see what else we got here. So guys, that was about it. Well, here goes Alan. He's back. I'll go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I pressed something on accident. Yeah, no, it's a lot of, like you were saying. Last thing I heard, you were talking about the same problems in Jamaica were creeping into the Caribbean. Yes, culturally, we are being dominated. But I know in Barbados, where my family's from, they they have we have a strong prime minister who's doing a good job, even though she's LGBTQ. She's done an excellent job, and we've broken ties with England, and I feel like the country's headed in a Pan-Africanist direction, and that's kind of the things I was looking for in terms of a place to eventually settle.
Yeah.
Those are the type of things I look for. Plus, the infrastructure and things are there, and in terms of a standard of living that I
Well,
would be accustomed to.
South Africa is pretty modern.
Yeah,
Namibia, I haven't been there. I've been watching the videos. It
yeah,
looks pretty like,
yeah.
first
It
world.
looks cool. Yeah, no, it looks great. South Africa does look great. It almost feels like you don't really feel like you're in Africa sometimes. But when you're, it's weird. South Africa is different. It's so much like here. It's scary.
Mm.
All
It's a lot
right,
like
go ahead, Benson. Unmute yourself, Benson. Go ahead. Benson, unmute yourself.
All right. I like about the topic you brought today. It's the second time I'm being joining this show, and to give out my opinion about what the United States want us to give our opinion on what is the aggression of Russia. I think as an African, at this time, we should not comment on anything. We should not be. We should have maybe just let the war go on, maybe because for a very long time, the African community was looked down upon. So why do they want our opinion about the Russian aggression? So I think for me, I strongly believe that we should keep our own problems to ourselves and build on what we have to do, because I think we have a lot as an African countries to do for ourselves. So about the United States, we should tell them it's sorry, this is not the time. But for our brothers who are in the States, we welcome them to come and invest in Africa, because we believe on a united continent with black people, we will do greater things. And I think time has come, and it has not even come. It is way overdue.
I agree. I think that stepping in the middle of this and picking a side, why would you do that? There's no benefit to doing that. You don't see they try to force Israel to do the same thing, try to pick a side, and Israel's bankrolled by the United States, and they won't pick a side. So I think this is a battle of a great hegemon, which is the United States, coming down and possibly having a challenger. And the rest of the world should just watch and see, who comes out on top and go from there. Because picking a side at this point is not beneficial.
The way I look at it, my only problem or gripe with the war is how is it going to affect the American dollar? Is the American dollar going to still be the top currency in the world?
No,
Like,
no, no,
then
no.
we got to make sure that we keep it that way, because that's how we could help build Africa,
Yeah, well, maybe, but
No.
I'm saying that the days of if the American dollar stops being the number one, the petrodollar, basically the only one that can be used for oil and things like that, then and this Chinese alternative comes out, man, they've become the hegemon. They've
So you
become the
think we
biggest one in the
should
world.
pivot to China?
I think the world is pivoting that way.
I-
If things work out a certain way, we should just sit back and wait to see what happens.
The world is starting to pivot to Russia. I mean,
I-
if you look at the Middle East, you look at India, you look at China, and India, Russia, Brazil, China, and South Africa, they have their BRICS countries. Like they're starting to pivot. If you notice, they're starting to remain neutral. Like when the US is questioning them in regards to, hey, let's pick a side, Russia or Ukraine, they're somewhat ignoring the US, and they're pivoting to Russia.
And it's because of China. It's because before they even did the invasion, the China and Russia came out with a joint statement showing that China was going to back them, which is why Biden had that long call with President Xi and was trying to get him to reconsider that. And because they see what's happening, they see that once the American dollar is not part of the petrodollar, meaning the only currency that can be used to purchase and buy oil, all money having to be converted
Switch
into
to the
American
yen.
dollars, it's gonna be a problem. We're not gonna be number one.
Then they're gonna come and ask for their money back, all that money we borrowed from them, and then we're gonna have to pay them in their currency. But
Right.
I'm saying that the election really hurt us as black people, because Trump, I like what he was trying to do, but we just got caught up with this racism stuff, and we didn't really see the actual chess game that was going on. And I think we're paying for it with this weak leader, Joe Biden.
Hi, Dynast. I
Yeah,
have a
go ahead.
short time.
Go ahead, Emoji. Go ahead. How you doing?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
I wanted to speak on the real estate side of things that the earlier discussion,
Okay, go
and I
ahead.
just wanted to. I think I made some posts in the chat. I'd like to encourage the audience to just think of the non-traditional ways to get in and build wealth through real estate. I believe it was Theo that talked about potentially being an investor first, and using whatever funds to build wealth either domestically or on the continent. Because there are, I've heard a couple of cities um, being discussed, and with low barriers to entry because property values are lower, you might start out as an investor first. So you find a property 50, 60,000 or less. Maybe you need to put 10% down, excuse me, as an investor. Get in, put a tenant, and maybe that tenant long term pays for you to live where you can work and get a better salary, but you have a piece of property that you can leverage. So that's one way. Then the other way I posted about looking at foreclosures beyond HUD. So every federal agency that backs mortgages has foreclosures and REOs. And I bought one that was Freddie Mac owned.
Her mic sounds muffled.
Can you hear me?
No. She sounds fine to me. She sounds perfect. She sounds fine to me. Go ahead.
Okay. So the U.S. Marshals even, foreclose on properties or take property in the custom into their custody. They don't, they don't want to be sellers, property owners. So they have properties that they list on their sites that they want to get rid of. So there are ways to get into real estate beyond the traditional means. I'm a real estate broker. I've been a broker for 15 years. And I do some other things as well. But I have clients that are thinking, outside of the box. So the home you buy might not, the first one you buy may not be the one you live in, but you have something that you can leverage from an equity perspective to eventually use to buy something that you want to live in here or somewhere else. So we just have to get out of the traditional ways of thinking and try to get on this bandwagon that is just exploding everywhere. I'm in LA, but I also have property in Louisiana, have family with property in Atlanta, and I see what's going on, and we're just missing it. And this is a 10-year cycle. So if we don't try to get ourselves in now, we've got to wait another 10 years. And so those are just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think I want to introduce something new. Amir, you just allow me for this topic. When I heard about Alan talking about the petrodollar, and I believe that the black man is the petrodollar because it's not something new. It has happened before in the past. We have a king in Mali who was the richest person in the world. And I believe that the black man should take his place now because what has been happening in the world, people have been having selfish interest, people have been putting others below. We've been having racism, we've been having appetite, we've been done all our cultures has been distorted. The people uh, who left Africa for slave, who were taken in for slave. Right now, their lives, their cultures were distorted, and these are African brothers. It's sad. So I think the new petrodollar, we should now concentrate it to be an African or black man. Not saying African because we are all blacks. Because me and if you literally look at Amir, I will think he is from maybe Somali or maybe Ethiopia. He can easily you can easily come to Africa and blend in so easily. Look at even Alan. Look at even how we speak, how we think, how we relate with one another. I'm an African. I can relate with you very easily. And now the thing is I've been now traveling in Europe and I've tried to understand what is the black. There's a natural undertaking that is taking place with the black man society. The black man society is in every part of this world.
Mhm.
Either you talk about
Hey,
Peru,
hey,
either you talk about the Americas.
Benson, real
Right,
quick. I just
right,
real quick because I don't know if
right.
Yamoja is gonna
Sorry.
drop off real quick. Yamoja, can you do me a favor? Can you email me your phone number?
Yes, I
Um,
can. I most certainly
I'm gonna
can.
put it. I'm gonna
I
put
will.
it
I
in.
will. Sure.
No, I said, well, you too, Benson, if you want to. Yamoja, I'm gonna put it in the private chat.
Okay.
Just email me your
Okay.
phone number.
One thing else before I drop. I'm sorry to interrupt the last speaker, but
Yeah,
I
go ahead,
think
go
if
ahead.
we start thinking as solution folks, we can conquer any place that we are. For example, I'm in LA.
True.
I'm looking at the news, and the border is full of folks that have already made it here from Ukraine because they know Mexico is an easier place of entry. Biden is now dropping the Trump whatever ruling he made that to close down that border and hold make Mexico a holding place. Well, now they're at the border. So, okay, we know they're going to get in. They're going to need housing. They're not going to come and stay in LA. They're going to go out throughout the country. If we have properties, we need to find out if our cities are on the list that's getting funding to bring all of these Ukrainians to their city. They're going to need housing. They're going to need everything. So first of all, from a housing perspective, let's let them rent from us. They're going to get federal dollars from it. So we have to always think of, okay, instead of thinking of the things that are happening to us, we have to think of the things that can happen through us. And that housing piece is huge
True.
because they don't have any money. So somebody's gonna pay for their housing for 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, however long. That's another voucher program.
That's an excellent
There's
point.
also the veterans VASH, VASH. So it's a voucher program for veterans that are coming back home that are homeless, which is another disgrace. But they pay on time, do the same process of inspecting the property, and once it passes an inspection, they'll pay a portion or all of the veterans' rent. we should be filling that gap. We should be that homeowner that's on that list. We should be reaching out to the VA counselors to say, hey, I have a property, what do I need to do? How do I get on your list? You know, take that a step further and say, hey, I can provide a list of services beyond housing. I can bring a social worker in if you're going to pay for it, so that this person can get mental health counseling. They look at continuum of care. So it starts with first having the person housed, and then from there, are you providing job placement services, mental health services? It just mushrooms. So I just ask us to think from a solution perspective instead of a victim. And that's it. I got to drop. I'll get that
Okay,
to
and
you,
your
Diners.
mojo. So
Thank you.
your mojo. I'll put my look in the private chat. There's my email. If you can email me your phone number, please.
Okay, and we're connected beyond how you know, but I'm just not ready to divulge it. We're gonna connect for sure. I'll be in Atlanta soon.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
We're
All
both
right.
Georgia.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
Georgia,
All right.
UGA. Okay, take care.
Are you at the UGA?
Yeah.
What years were you there?
So now you're gonna tell me. Now I gotta tell my age. In the early '90s.
Okay. So you were there before me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, emoji. Well, my number's in it. My email's in the chat. Just email me your phone number. I'll meet you in Athens. No, I need to go back to Athens anyway. So just
Okay. All right.
Atlanta,
I'll be in
wherever.
Alpharetta.
Okay, Alpharetta, Athens, Atlanta, wherever. Just
Okay.
hit me up with your contact.
Thanks so much. Take care, everyone. Be blessed.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, sure.
Excellent.
Alan, anything else? Alan, I was going to say anything
No,
else?
she makes some excellent points about, these 100,000 people are going to need to live somewhere. And so figuring out what the hubs are for these people and how you can help provide housing could be a moneymaker for you. So that sounds like an excellent idea. That's it.
Sure. All right, but hey, y'all, everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go to donfo.africa. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.